Hey, Ando here from SenseiAndo.com and Happy Life Martial Arts. Standing outside today with my old friend Sensei Alec. Sensei Alec runs The Mat Martial Arts in Austin, Texas. So if you're looking for quality martial arts instruction in that area, I'll put a link below. Check him out. We were just outside doing a little bit of training ourselves, and we started to talk about how people defend punches. The way we defend punches versus the way students defend punches, and what was one of the observations that we were coming up with?
Well, we were noticing that a lot of the intermediate and the advanced students that we have are still holding on to habits they learned in the early stages, and they're not changing things with the level that they're moving up in. So they're actually working harder than they need to. So the goal was to find a way to make them work smarter instead of harder.
That's great. So if you're an intermediate or advanced martial artist, today we're going to help you figure out how to get rid of some of those beginner habits. Let's get to it right now. Okay, so if you're watching students on the mat, how do you know who the beginners are and who the intermediate and advanced people are? What's a beginner doing?
In a general sense, a beginner is doing more gross motor movement. They have less trained skills, so things are based off of what feels the most natural, and if they don't have much experience of something coming after them, it's going to be a very grand motion of some kind.
Okay, so
for example, let's take a straight punch. It's super easy to work with. As this is coming through, they're going to do something really large to get out of their way. 2 hands, 1 hand, something that's very large motion so that they can really make sure that they're safe. Just think about a fly coming after you. You don't snap the fly. You swat the fly.
Right.
Same concepts.
Because there's probably some panic involved and just you don't know what to do. So it's just natural to try to get things away from you, get away from the danger.
Exactly.
Right.
So we use that in the early stages of training to say, hey, let's just make that better for you. So it's more deliberate.
Right.
So as it's a big motion, you're bringing it off to the side and you're learning how to rotate your body with it. So then you have open targets or exit strategy depending on what your goal is.
Fair enough. All right. But that's also a problem as you get to a more advanced level against a better fighter or multiple attackers. What are the problems with this big gross motor blocking or deflection?
Put it simply, the bigger motion I make one way, the bigger motion I have to make the other way. Some form of retraction has to happen for me to run or to attack, counter, whatever you want to call it. So when I start to have more honed training, I don't want to move as big so that I can respond with less motion back, adding quickness, adding a little bit more body tension, adding some options for striking, as opposed to so big over here, I really only have that one giant motion of use back. I'm not going to do one punch, one kill concepts.
So as you get more advanced, your movements should probably start becoming a little more subtle, a little more sophisticated, a little harder to detect, which means you have to have more confidence in this pocket. Because what was that phrase you were using before about wanting and needing?
So the concept is, as I learn to not get hit, I don't want to get hit, and I don't want to get so bad that I'm going to move things way over there. But the reality is, I only need to not get hit that much. I may not be comfortable with that close. So I will have to figure out between the initial want and the more honed need, what is the buffer that I'm comfortable with doing? And that's where the intermediate training comes in, is to understand how to streamline that want to need ratio.
Okay. And that puts you in a better position by only doing what you need to do. If you let me shave you with this, zoom, like throwing the knives you talked about, like when you're in a circus and the knife is coming right there, if you allow that, then you are in a better position to begin your counterattack or running or whatever.
Because I no longer have to worry about centering my body to you. I'm already centered, or I can stay located in a specific area that I can stay behind this punch and have options for myself.
Right. Because what do you say when you see people move out to the side? They may not just be shooting out their arms, they may also be sacrificing some of their posture and their eye lines.
Yeah, it's a frame change. Your skeletal structure rotates or tips or dips and moves out of place in a way that you're losing efficiency in whatever motions you're going to want.
Could you show us like the way it should not be done?
So you don't want to be able to have your shoulders tip over. You don't want to be crossing your arm across your whole center line. You don't want your head to tip over your heel line. You want to keep everything pretty upright and pretty standardized in terms of a carousel horse shape. So if I've got a carousel horse with that post going through my body, I can rotate, I can rise and dip, and I can move my body in and out if I need to.
And even your eye line.
My eye line doesn't change either. That way I don't have to worry about readjusting the visuals of what my brain is calculating. So it keeps things simple.
So overdoing like bobbing and weaving and slipping and all that stuff can put you in a worse position to counterattack or to escape because you're just doing too much. Again, you're working too hard. Okay, so the problem is pretty simple to understand. Doing too much. That's it, just working too hard. So how can we start chiseling away to become more efficient and effective in our fight?
Well, the first thing is to talk about what are the limits of the needs.
The limits of the knees.
The limits of the knees, so I don't have to worry about overcomplicating it.
Right.
The width of my head or the width of my shoulders. That's the two spaces that I have to worry
This is
about.
all you have to worry about defending. You don't have to defend over here. You don't have to defend up here or around you. You only need to defend your skeleton.
Right.
Right.
If I perceive that you're hitting to the center of one of those places,
Right.
my center line doesn't change. If
Right.
it's up high, it's my head. I only need to miss enough that the outside of my head is no longer being hit.
Right. That's what
If
you
it's
need.
the center of my body, I need to, if I just rotate my body, that is enough to not get hit anymore.
Right.
But it's going to be closer than most people are comfortable with doing.
Right.
So we're going to use our arms to redirect something, but still use the shoulders to influence that motion. And as you do that, it's going to keep everything at a nice comfortable distance from that hand so that you can keep things close to your body. I don't have to extend my arm. I feel pretty comfortable, relaxed.
Right.
And then I can move forward or strike forward, whatever is nice to feel from there.
Right, and again, you don't like using the word block. I have a video, I'll put the link up, about how I'm not a big believer in blocks if you don't need them. They're kind of instinctive, so they're going to happen anyway. But really, you should keep your focus on attacking and getting to positions where you're dominant. So you don't like to use the word block either, because would you consider this a block or
This
not?
is not a block. Actually, a block by definition is I'm stopping something, and I'm using some force against a force.
Like a beta blocker, you would say, something like that.
A beta
Something-
blocker, a linebacker, anything where you block and stop something from happening. You're meeting force with force.
And this is not happening
This is
here.
not that.
No.
I'm redirecting the energy, and I'm just letting my body's motion be natural while your energy goes elsewhere so that I can continue back the other
Right,
direction.
so now I'm wasting energy, I'm inefficient, where you're putting yourself in a position to be efficient.
Correct. So
Right.
the inside defensing motion is not a block. It is a redirection of energy.
And so the less energy that you use to try to stop me or push me away is more energy that you have to now come back at me to either fight or run or whatever you need to do.
Correct. And that's where the wants and needs concept comes back in, because if I use more energy to redirect yours, I have to use more energy to bring it back versus staying compact but safe and then not have to working hard to come in.
Exactly. All right, so let's talk about a simple drill that you can add to your practice time to help you become a little more efficient and a little more effective in your punch defense. What would that be?
Well, let's talk about connecting everything in one piece as much as possible. So you're not moving all these different parts at one time. So I'm going to use the hands as a guide to make your hand go elsewhere. But
So get a partner.
Yeah, you're going to get a partner. You're going to have them throw slow punches back
Yep.
and forth, left
Boom.
and right, left and right.
Yep.
And I'm going to just use the same side that it's coming in for now, and I'm going to rotate my shoulders and use my arm just to be a guard. I'm not moving my arms to make this happen. If you want to do a palm version of a block, that's fine. You want to do a fisted version, you even want to use your forearms instead. None of that really matters so much as let the shoulders do the motion for you.
So even though your arms are making contact, you're not thinking about your arms. You're actually just thinking about what you need to do, which is move the body. For right now, these are like training wheels just to get you to feel comfortable right now with these punches in front of you, right?
Correct, that's correct.
Right, so then you could move to the next level, which would be to just take the arms away.
Take the arms out of the way. They don't even exist right
Hands
now.
up.
Put your hands down. I mean, obviously, you're going to want to keep your hands up as some form of protection.
Well, yeah, be safe, of course. But generally, what the goal would be if you had no arms and I was just feeding you punches, that you're just trying to slip and look at these punches. And of course, I could be more random and faster. That's up to you and your own training partner. But you're just trying to figure out how to slide these punches and feel comfortable here. Because once there's less panic and you're breathing and you're seeing and you're feeling what's going on, you can always add hands back. You can always add more movement if something's going wrong. But you want to try to boil this exercise down to the pure essence of just do what you need to do. Just make sure the fist doesn't hit something vital, and then everything else, the rest of your focus should be on your counter or your escape. Is that fair?
That's very fair, yeah.
All right, so there's your challenge. The next time you're entering into some partner drills or doing some sparring, see how little you can do to get the results that you want, right?
Yeah, I mean, pay attention to how much you actually move by response, and then see what you can do to minimize that movement so it's less and less each time you do it.
Right, it's funny because maybe in the beginning you move big movements out of panic, but then your ego might want you to start moving big as well. You might want people to see how you can do these moves and they're big and they're strong and you grunt and you sweat and you're out of breath. It makes you feel proud of yourself because you're working hard and everyone sees that you know what you're doing, but that's beginner mindset, that's beginner ego. As you get better, I think things should start becoming invisible. Nobody should see actually how good you are. They just know that they can't hit you. Don't you think that's a good goal?
It's a very demoralizing experience.
It's demoralizing. That's our goal. We want to demoralize anyone who wants to hurt us. Fair?
Fair enough.
All right, sir. Well, thank you very much for
Pleasure
sharing
as
your wisdom with
always.
us. Again, if you'd like to train with Sensei Alec, I'll put the link below. Check him out in Austin, Texas. Until next time, keep fighting for a happy life.